The Desert Chef is back after a long layoff, and we have a new studio here today. And we're having pizza in a new brick oven pizza oven, and I'm gonna make the dough a day ahead of time. So I have tried a lot of different varieties how to make pizza dough. This is my favorite. This is one of my go-to. Can't miss. So here are the ingredients. Pretty simple. It is 00 flour, soft wheat flour, salt, fast active dry yeast, olive oil, and warm water. I get it to be between 90 and 100 degrees. So first thing you do, drop the little salt in here, and then the yeast. Stir it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna let this sit probably 5 minutes. Let it start activating a little bit. Mix up the salt, get the ingredients moving around in there pretty good, and just let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then we'll mix it in with the flour here in a minute. One thing I forgot to mention, one of the things you're gonna need to do this, you're gonna wanna weigh all these ingredients. So tonight, I'm actually making 8 doughs for this one. But the standard recipe that I make is probably 5. We have a few more people coming over, so I'm gonna make 8. You just make the adjustments, divide by 5, multiply how many doughs you want, and I'll post the recipe down below, so everybody will be able to, make it based on that recipe. But the recipe will be for 5 doughs. This is 8. Okay. So this has been sitting for approximately 5 minutes. So I go in here and I just make kind of a little hole with this flour, and I just pour the mixed water ingredients in. So you just work this around, work the flour and the water together for just a few minutes until it gets all combines to one. The one great thing about measuring is it really helps get the right amount of water with the flour. It's spot on almost every time. So highly encourage it. This is digital. You can adjust it to grams or ounces. This is gonna be all in grams. So just keep working this around. And once I work that flour in a little bit, then I'll go ahead and put some olive oil in there. And I don't really measure this one, but I'm guessing it's probably 3 or 4 tablespoons of olive oil. I like that in the dough, so I probably put a little more in there. So I'll post that as well, how many tablespoons in there. But just work this around. Once it gets to the right amount of consistency, I'll just get my hands in there a little bit. And just, you can see how it just picks up all the flour. And once we're done with this first part of mixing it, getting it all mixed together here, I'll let it sit for about 15 minutes, let it set up for about 15 minutes, and then I'll knead that dough after that. So I'll be back in about 15 minutes. So this is the way the dough looks after it's been set up for 15 minutes. I pretty much hand mix that dough. So the next step is to knead it for just a few minutes. So what I'll do is I'll sprinkle a little flour down here on the counter and just dump it out. Like so. Yeah. And then just kind of work that flour in, work the dough really good. So just for a few minutes, and after I'm done mixing it really good and kneading it, then I'll put a little olive oil on the bottom of a Tupperware like this, and then I'll throw the dough in there for 2 hours. So it has to sit for 2 hours at room temperature, covered. So I'll put a cover on this and let it sit for 2 hours at room temperature, and then we'll divide up it into individual balls. The final step here before we can put these in the oven is we need to make individual balls. So what happens is, so this is what it looks like. It's been sitting for 2 hours, grown quite a bit. See the oil kind of move to the side. So what I'll do is, since I said I made 8 individual doughs, so I got to measure each one of them by weight. So I'll take this out, set that there. Get this in back in, just quick measuring it. All right, so about 175 grams. It usually comes out every time, about 175 grams. So mix this up just a little bit, but you're gonna need one of these little plastic guys here, and you just, from there, you measure out 175, making a guess here. That's pretty darn close, little too much, but so take a little off. Next step, once you get to the 175, just knead this one dough, just a little bit. And then I'll put a little flour on the bottom of this plastic. I usually put them in covered for at least 24 hours. So I'll put them in this, but you can use anything. A lot of times I make a couple doughs, I'll put 2 of them in here. So you just set it just like that. I'll put 6 of them in here and then put it in the fridge, and I'd say use it in 24 to 48 hours, but it's gotta sit at least overnight. So that's it. Now I'll bring you to tomorrow when we make these pizzas, and we're looking forward to getting it on that new brick oven pizza. So I'm excited to see that. Isaac, here we go. Isaac's making a little pizza here. Got the dough. Made that the night before. Now he's just, mixing it up like a good old Italian here. Puts it on there with a little bit of flour, so easy to slide off. They got plenty of ingredients. What we do with ours is we put cheese on it first, and then the ingredients, and then the sauce. I think it keeps the pizza a little crispier that way. So we'll go outside and take a look at that pizza. There we go. This is the pizza oven that we just finished. How gorgeous does that guy look? Got to finish the foundation underneath it, but that pizza oven, spectacular. Huh? How good is that? All right, so now we're cooking up the pizza, the pies. Got Keenan here. Beautiful night here in Arizona. Look at the landscape right on the golf course. Got the dogs over here playing. Crazy animals. But we got the pie in there. You can see it's getting a little bubbly. Nice and hot on the one side. Gorgeous. Love this stuff. So good. So good.